Greetings, everybody. Hope everybody had a fantastic 4th of July. I want to walk through actually kind of a long list of announcements and updates. This is overall an informational episode. Try to continuously disseminate information as widely as we possibly can. And maybe in no particular order. First of all, I'm doing this on Friday, July 5th. Tomorrow is the rally at the Rock up in Bradford County. The information on that has been on the Pennsylvania Patriot Coalition Facebook page multiple times. I'll put that up again. This is put on by Doug McClinko, who's head and shoulders above everybody else in terms of patriots in the state of Pennsylvania. It's a fantastic event. There are going to be a huge number of people there. And I really strongly encourage you to be there. The gates open, I believe, roughly 9 o'clock in the morning. But well worth your time. If you're anywhere within any kind of reasonable driving distance of Bradford County, I strongly encourage you to be there. Let's jump into talking about lash up with the Trump campaign. Pennsylvania Patriot Coalition sometime back reached out to the Pennsylvania Trump campaign and said to them, look, hey, we're 10,000% in support of the president. And we understand you guys are going to have to deal with the GOP establishment, and we'll just let that go for now. But you can't deal just with them. You got to deal with us, the Patriot movement, the America First movement, MAGA, whatever you want to call it. You got to deal with us on an equal footing. You got to talk directly to us. You got to work directly with us. You can't think you can communicate with us through the county committees. Won't work. End result is you're going to lose the state. The result of those conversations was that the Trump campaign agreed 100% to all of those assertions. And I should add that I went into those conversations probably thinking it might take a little bit of communication, persuading, better way to put it, to get them to agree. That was not the way those played, just so everybody understands. I finished my speech, and they effectively said, amen, we get it. We know who does the work. We know who's going to win the war. We know if we don't have MAGA world on our side, we lose. So how do we do this? So first step, what we did was that the campaign has a state director and a deputy director, and they operate out of Newtown down Bucks County. Yes, you can see one of my co-hosts roaming around the background. She gets bored with politics. A smart dog. They have their state headquarters down there. And then what they have is a next tier of deputy directors. 3 of them, they've broken the state into 3 large chunks. And they got a deputy director running each one of these 3 large chunks, if you will. One of them is all of eastern Pennsylvania, north of the collar counties around Philly. So that would be one deputy director. Another deputy director has responsibility for those counties immediately adjacent to Philly, like Bucks. And then there's a third deputy director who covers what they call Western PA, but honestly is 2/3 of the state, is basically Lycoming West. Okay, so what we did was we designated liaisons on our side, points of contact on our side from the Patriot movement to interface with each one of these deputy directors and facilitate their contact with the Patriot movement in that portion of the state. So the idea here, so everybody's clear, is not that this liaison on our side functions as a single point of contact and everything has to flow through that person like some sort of choke point. It is exactly the opposite. It's the job of that person to get the Trump campaign in contact with all of the grassroots in their area so that everybody can work hand in glove at the grassroots level. Again, expressly, not the job of our liaison with each one of these 3 people to handle all day-to-day contact. If it works out that way, we failed. Exactly the opposite. Their job to get everyone in the Patriot world introduced to the campaign and working with the campaign. to function as guides, mentors, whatever label you want to stick on it. Below each one of these 3 deputy directors are a whole host of regional directors, which essentially broken the state into 17 pieces that correspond roughly to the congressional districts. There are some minor variations. For instance, if you're around Scranton, where the congressional districts obviously cross county lines, you will find that the campaign for convenience, for the sake of convenience, decided to follow the county lines, not the congressional district lines. So it's not a precise matchup by congressional district, but it's pretty friggin' close across the state. Easy way to think of it. So you got these 3 deputy directors, and under each one of them, you have X number of regional directors, 1 for each one of these congressional district type areas, meaning that for the most part, most of those regional directors have multiple counties as their responsibility. And then obviously the campaign is in the process of building out the organization from that point on. So there will be the statewide leaders, the 3 deputy directors, then the 17 regional directors, and then below them down to county, and ultimately one presumes precinct level. Okay. So our guides, our liaison, our point of contact for each one of the 3 big areas, their job to get everybody on the Trump side plugged into all the patriot groups. Couple of key points. 1, it's the Pennsylvania Patriot Coalition that reached out and made this contact and proposed this arrangement and facilitated it. There is no idea here that the only patriot groups who play in this, the only groups on the America First side that play in this, are those that are formally part of the coalition. We don't care. That is irrelevant. So when we're introducing folks in the Trump campaign to people in the patriot world, we are introducing them to the full range of our contacts. Doesn't matter if you were part of the coalition, aren't anymore, never were, we don't care. If you are like-minded, if you're in the fight on our side, speaking very broadly, welcome to the party. So for all of you that will listen to this that maybe are not formally part of the coalition and you want brought into this, 100% you are welcome. Reach out to us. So I said we got contacts, points of contact, liaison on our side, on the Patriot side for each one of these 3 deputy directors. Okay, for the Northeast is what the campaign calls it, which is basically all of Eastern Pennsylvania north of the counter. I need more coffee this morning. Outside of the collar counties, you say that 3 times fast. All of the rest of Eastern Pennsylvania, that's 1 deputy director. And I am the guy who has, his name is Billy Moore. And I am the guy who is functioning as the direct contact with Billy to facilitate him reaching out to and all of his people making contact with all these patriot groups. So if you're anywhere in that eastern part of Pennsylvania outside of the counties, right around Philly, and you want to get put in contact with Billy or his people, and you don't already have that information, which I'm pushing out all the time, you can come directly to me on Messenger, and I will get you the contact information for your area. Why aren't we just putting all those email addresses and telephone numbers up on Facebook and everywhere else? Because unfortunately, we've got trolls floating around. Some of them, I guess, are spies. Some of them are just people who need to get a life and love messing with folks online. But the point is, I don't want to put all those email addresses and all those telephone numbers out there so every scumbag in the world can gum up communications. But you reach out to me on Facebook for that area, you're genuine. I will get you the contact information you need. For those of you that are on the Telegram channel that the coalition has, which is secure, that information is being disseminated regularly on Telegram. It's already there because that is a limited audience. Okay. If you are, by the way, an America First Group representative and you're not already on that coalition Telegram channel, you can also reach out to me, and assuming you're legit, we will get you into that Telegram channel so you will be part of the secure communications we have. One way or the other, however you want to play it, if you're in the area I described and you want to be put in contact with Billy Moore and his people, reach out to me. The same principle applies for the rest of the state. So for those collar counties around Philly, our liaison is Andy Meehan from Right for Bucks. If you need to be put in contact with, want to be put in contact with the Trump campaign down in that area, reach out directly to Andy. If you do not have Andy's contact information, you can get it from me. Just ask, and we will get it to you, assuming you are legit. For the western 2/3 of the state, we got two people working as interface with the campaign. One is Ed Krupa, one is Monica O'Donnell. It's a huge area, so they're kind of tag teaming that liaison. The Trump campaign deputy director for the West is Josh Herman. And I forgot to say, for the area around Philadelphia, the Trump deputy director is a guy named Sam Martinez. So Billy Moore for the East outside of the collar counties, Sam Martinez on the Trump side down around Philly, and then Josh for the whole western part of the state. Some of you may recognize Josh's name. Josh used to work for Senator Mastriano. So in terms of understanding the dynamics of how things work in Pennsylvania, Josh has been to that school. He knows exactly how all of this plays. In any event, the goal is to get you, your Patriot group, your America First group, whatever it is, and we expressly want gun rights groups and medical freedom groups. The goal is to get you guys directly tied into the Trump campaign. All we're doing is facilitating that contact so you're not floating around lost. If you are lost, bottom line, you don't take anything else away from this whole long rambling diatribe, message me. I will get you in contact. If nothing else works, I will get you in contact. Other miscellaneous stuff. We're starting to see a bunch of surrogates for Dementia Joe showing up in Pennsylvania. His horrifyingly terrible Machiavellian wife was here the other day. We got Gavin Newsom popping in and out of the state. God knows what other winged monkeys are going to show up. We're already seeing local groups organize counter demonstrations or welcoming committees, maybe a better way to put it. I know Andy Meehan and Right for Bucks have been all over this to let these people know that we don't need them here in the Commonwealth and go the hell home. I encourage you to keep doing that. As always, in a peaceful way, in a lawful way. The last thing on earth we need right now is somebody feeding the Democratic garbage narrative that we are all violent extremists. We don't need any of that, but we can certainly organize in numbers, loudly, peacefully, in a civil way, and let these folks know we're not buying what you're selling. And I strongly encourage you guys to do that, and we will continue to push out notice of these trips as we see them. Miscellaneous for those people that are group leaders, members of groups that are formally part of the coalition. We were talking about doing a group leaders face-to-face meeting in August. We have decided to push that off until sometime after the November election, just purely because all of the focus right now needs to be on winning this election. Last couple of points I'm going to make for now, and then I'll figure out after I sign off the 5 things that I forgot. Everybody out there has been working like hell for years to win this fight. We're really close to achieving a truly historic victory here after a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So I got to tell you, don't lose faith, don't quit, but also you need to focus on winning this election, on putting Donald Trump back in the White House. Does that magically fix everything? It doesn't. But without that key piece, we're in a world of hurt. So, whether we're talking about posts, I don't need memes. I don't need more posts that say libtard 6 times. We don't need snark because that isn't getting us anywhere. Not that it's not well deserved. What we need are posts about concrete things that you are doing, concrete things that your group is doing. And as an individual, the number one thing you can do right now is guarantee that the folks who are in fact MAGA people, patriots, America First people, that they vote. If you look at the statistics for instance, people that go to Trump rallies and then how many actually vote, it's shocking because a huge percentage of people who show up fired up, angry, wanting their country back, will not then bother to cast a vote, either in person or by mail. And look, guys, we all want to get rid of mail-in voting. I get it. I'm there. I still got my return Pennsylvania to mail-in voting now sign up at the end of my driveway. But we're stuck with it for right now. So for right now, one way or the other, you've got to cast your vote. You must vote. And then this is what you got to do. You got to sit down in your own world. And you got to identify, let's say, 10 people, I think is the number the campaign throws around all the time. 10 folks you know that are 100% supporters of Donald Trump and yet don't bother to cast a ballot. And then you got to change that. Understand my verbiage. I didn't say you got to try to change that. I didn't say you got to talk to them. I said you just have to go out and change that. I don't care if you got to go pick up Uncle Bob and put him in your Jeep and drive him to the polls. I'm not telling you to vote for him. I'm not talking about election fraud. I'm saying you got to intervene, pump these people up. If you got to get them a mail-in ballot and have them fill it out, do it. Again, not telling you to fill it out for them. We're not going full Democrat on people. I'm telling you to step in and see that these people vote. We cannot come out the other side of Election Day and be looking at statistics like we have looked at in the past. If there is one thing the Democrats fundamentally changed about electioneering and elections before we get to fraud, it's turnout. That's what mail-in voting did for them. It jumped their numbers, the percentage of turnout, dramatically, historically. It changed everything because the vast numbers of people on their side that never voted before, all of a sudden were voting because they made it so easy for them. So we have to match that turnout. There's all kinds of other pieces to the puzzle. I get it. But if we don't match the turnout, none of the rest of the pieces of the puzzle matter. Don't hope it happens. Don't wish it would happen. Make it happen. 10 people. Find 10 people in your circle and change this and get them to vote. And we win. Last thing I'm going to say to you is something about my good buddy Steve Bannon. Bannon right now is in prison. Every time I say that, it kind of frankly just takes my breath away. He's in prison because he is a political opponent of the current regime. Flat out. He is a political prisoner. Locked up for a crime, yes, that's in quotes, that it's been almost 50 years since anybody went to jail for this misdemeanor. And nobody has ever gone to jail for defying a subpoena by a manifestly illegitimate, illegal committee pursuing political vendettas. What I want you to absorb from that is not, I don't want you to come away from that dispirited or depressed. I want you to come away from that furious, white hot angry. And I also want you to recognize that at a whole bunch of junctures, Steve Bannon had the ability to knuckle under, to do what this illegitimate committee ordered him to do, to be their boy and stay out of prison by compromising his principles. And what he said over and over and over and over again is, if I got to go to prison to stand up for the American people, I will do so. And it wasn't crap, and it wasn't a throwaway line, because he's sitting behind bars right now. So I don't want to hear anybody in the state of Pennsylvania talking to me about being tired, dispirited, discouraged. I don't know if I got the energy. I don't know if I got the time. Huh? That's the bar, people. That's the bar, not just for you. That's the bar that I look at every day when I get up. Am I doing as much as Steve Bannon is doing to take this country back? Because that's where we are. The tide is turning. We still got a lot of fight ahead of us, but the tide is turning. We can see that we can win this war, but we can't win this war unless everybody's in it and everybody's pulling together. Am I doing as much as Steve Bannon is doing? That's what you need to ask yourself each and every day. It's what I'm going to keep asking myself each and every day. Thank you. I hope everybody had a fantastic 4th of July. We did. We took a little, amazingly enough, a little bit of downtime at the Hacienda for a few hours to drink a couple of beers and set off some fireworks and eat some pork barbecue. I will talk to you again soon.